Alright folks, welcome to BorsellaNet. Today we are listening to one of my personal favorites among the living, Anthrax. This is a great album, man. Right here I'm just looking at the album artwork and it's great. You got a bunch of people, a bunch of nobodies, but in the middle you've got this one guy who, if you know the lore, he's the dude, the man from the Stephen King book, The Stand. We start off, great riff. Get. Wonderful riff. You can't beat it. And the first thing on the record here says this album is dedicated to Cliff. And we all know who Cliff is. Cliff Burton. He was the bassist of Metallica. Tragically died in a bus accident overseas in Europe. And that was just a huge monumental point in metal history. It sucks, but it's one of those things that kind of happens, and we have to move on. That's life, right? And so if you're among the living, like these guys in Anthrax, then it's all good. So one thing I love about Anthrax is their lyric sheet. So here we go. He's singing, and great lyrics. I think Scott Ian wrote most of the lyrics. Good, gang shout vocals going on there. Just classic thrash going with that Johnny Z tone going. So what's also really cool is how Anthrax sets up their lyric sheet, and they tell you how the song is gonna go. You could read this without listening to the music, and you could be like, okay, this is the verse, this is the chorus, because they print it out for you. A lot of bands don't do that. They kind of leave it ambiguous. Here we go. Dan Braudigan. He did the album cover that I just showed you. And Charlie Benanti, my boy, the drummer, he had the concept for the cover. The back cover, and I guess the photo of Dan Spitz. So I guess they had different people doing different photos that they have of the guys in the back. If you want to look at that. Those are the boys. New York strong. What a time to be alive, man. 1980, was it 86? 87. ESP guitars, Marshall amplification, TC electronics, that's pedals and stuff, which Dan Spitz does a great solo here. One thing I like about Dan Spitz is, and I'll say it again, trust me, there's more songs coming on, but I love his guitar solos. You can almost sing or whistle his guitar solos if you want to. You're just going up the scale there like a champion, man. Love that guy. Love this record. I like how they call out their crew. They say they rule among the living crew, 87 and 88. I would name off all the names if you care. I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you want to hear more about the song. So, so here we go. Among the living. Good stuff, man. It's almost wholesome. When I was a teenager, and I was just waiting for. I got the CD first, actually I have it right here. I got this, and I remember just waiting, looking out my window, like looking for the mailman to drive by, and like if you put a little package in the mail, because I knew like it was a small enough package that you could fit in the mailbox. And I remember when this record came, man, like just brings back so many memories of like being a kid and I don't know, innocence. And I think they definitely got that vibe going on, especially with Caught in a Mosh, the second track on the album here. This is one of their live staples. If you've ever seen Anthrax live, they're always going to play this song. It's one of those like they have to kind of songs, right? And this is that one from the record. I'm looking NFL, Indians, yeah, I mean, but like they have to play Cotton March. Great drumming by Charlie Benanti right there. Scott Ian kicking down with the rhythms there. One thing I always thought was funny was like Joey Belladonna's vocals on this song just sounded so silly to me. It's like he's talking too fast, but like it was fun, you know. Gonna live my life this way. And you know, Joey Belladonna, like you could tell he stepped up to the plate because he's like a guy who can like sing those high notes. But he proved, especially with this album, that he can spit out the words that Scott Ian was doing. And at the end of the day, hey, you got a great record, great fucking song. Playing it live for what, 30 years or something like that, almost? Don't tell me how to do my job. Good line. There's the door, your name's on the knob. It's almost like clever lyrics, but not really. It's almost like childish, like you're just like, when you're a kid and you're making an argument, and it's just like, stand on my face, or something like that. And you think that would make someone get out of your face, but when you get older, you realize, you know, people aren't going to get out of your face. Like, they're always just going to be there. And so, like, listening to this music, like, turn 33 in a couple weeks, and it's really, like, helped me grow as a person, because when you're caught in a mosh, you just got to keep running in that circle, you know? And it's like, kind of, yeah, getting caught up in life. What, the rat race, I guess they say, some stuff like that. And I think that's one thing that the song is about. And this mosh part, here we go. The mosh part. And that's another thing I love. Like I said before, and I'll say it again. They wrote, this is the mosh part. Like, they tell you how they wrote their songs and how they compiled them. Like, it was almost like this band held nothing from you. They wore everything on their sleeves, and their hearts were just, like, out there. Like, this is what we're doing, and we're telling you how we're doing it, and then we did it, and then here it is. And whether you like it or not, I mean, this is true art right here. That's why I love listening to records, man. Like, when I sit down after work, or if I'm at the house and I gotta do some chores, like cleaning or doing the dishes or doing some laundry or something like that, like, I'll put on some fucking Anthrax, and that shit gets me going. You know, and that's how I get on with my day. When I'm pulling into work at like 5 in the morning, and I don't want to look at anyone, I don't want to talk to anyone, I don't want to be around people, I really don't. I put on Anthrax, listen to this, and it makes me feel better. I mean, I wish I could listen to more, but you know, you only have so much time in a day. So now we're back into the verse. I can read right here that here's the pre-chorus, and jump right back into the chorus. Great songwriting. I mean, this is something that it's been told true. Like, people say, hey, the Beatles, they were the best songwriters, right? They were the ones that brought in pop, or, you know, what's popular. Like, this is how you write a song now. And what was great about Anthrax is like they took that and they were just like they pushed it. You end up with like 5-6 minute long songs. So that song was 5 minutes long. Last one was 5:16. This one, I Am the Law, which is also another fan favorite, is 6 minutes long. So this is going to be a good one. We're going to dive deep into I Am the Law. Because I Am the Law is just one of those songs that, like, it's just such a staple. Like, they don't even have to play it live. And a lot of times they don't. I mean, now I think they probably do, especially because Joey's been back in the band. But it's just one of those songs where I have a T-shirt that I bought years ago, and it's got Judge Dredd on the front, and on the back it says "I am the law," and like badass artwork. I think Alex Ross did it because I got Alex Ross to do like a ton of shit, like more than any band should have ever had an amazing artist like that. But like such a great artist. If you've read Kingdom Come or shoot, he's been doing every cover on the Immortal Hulk series. Amazing artist. I mean, look him up. If you don't know who he is, then you don't know. But if you know, then you know. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this song is about Judge Dredd. He's the truth, justice. He is the law. Don't drock the man. Drock it. So they capitalized where everyone did the gang vocals. Another thing was just like, hey, like, join in. Like, have fun with us. It's another thing, like, a lot of bands don't do, where it's like, hey, like, this is that part where you come in and you join us. And, like, and we all have fun together. Like, audience with the band mixing in. Why not, dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a lot of music, live music, entertainers, they don't know how to entertain. But Anthrax, they knew how to entertain. That's why I love Anthrax, because here we go. Pre-chorus. Fear the gun, right? You can sing along, you can read along. Just a good time. Like, it's almost like a melodic. It's also almost kind of chromatic. Like, you can sing it along, but it's like a minor key. You're not going to hear any notes like that in any pop song in the future or since then. You know, is the Bible to hear? Take a drink of water. Actually, getting a little thirsty. Stay hydrated. Hydrate or dihydrate. All right, where we at? Oh, the pre-chorus again. Fuck yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. Because I'm excited because the bridge is coming up. Now, the bridge, that's like your classic 1980s thrash bridge. Where it's almost like, it's like the song is changing. Right here. Breakneck speed, right hand picking technique from Scotty, and Frankie Bello comes in. He's hitting all those bass notes. I'll get into Frankie Bello in a bit. Don't worry. Another riff that's catchy, but it's not technically melodic. It's very minor and very chromatic. And what's great about this part, like, it's coming up, so like they go down to it's this guitar solo here, right? And he's got like this. I'm trying to listen here. I don't know if it's double tracked or if he's using an effect. It's got to be double tracked. But it's like he's playing the same solo, but in a different scale or a different key. Same scale, I guess. Back into the fast part right there. Great drums by Charlie Benanti. You can't deny the skill of this guy. But I think my favorite part of this whole bridge section, after Belladonna howling away, is right here. Key change. Key change. Something that a lot of musicians don't utilize enough. You know, I mean, you can really make a huge impact with just, you can play the same thing, but just key change it. Go down a little bit or go up a little bit. And Anthrax, I'll bring it up again because they do it multiple times. I probably missed it. I think they did one in Among the Living, right? So it's a great little technique. I think that should be the word that we need to focus on for this episode of BorsellaNet. Is technique. You know, how do you keep something flowing? How do you keep someone's interest? This song coming up right now, Ifel Nika Fessin, which is a weird made-up word. But if you read it backwards, it reads, nice fucking life. And then they do the initials there, NFL. Like, I don't know, football or whatever. I'm sure they weren't really reaching out to too many football fans with this song. But yeah, no, the chords that they use here are like classic, like Black Sabbath chords. Using the flatted fifth. But one thing about this song that separates a lot of the other tracks is Charlie Benante's drumming. Because when he goes into the verse here, it's just very punk rock. Like, you can bang your head slow with the snare up, or you can bang your head quick, like an old school 80s headbanger, which is the people that they were catering towards. You know, they were playing with Iron Maiden, they were playing with Judas Priest, like old school bands, like Accept, Scorpions. I mean, everyone. Anthrax was high up on the bill. I know Gene Simmons from Kiss was really talking them up, and really bringing the Anthrax positivity out there. Which when you hear Gene Simmons talk something up, you know he's making a couple of pennies off of it. You know, that's OJ making money from OJ still. You say OJ, which I just did. I'm gonna have to give him some fucking pennies. So, hey, Gene Simmons, thank you. But yeah, man, NFL. I think I remember seeing some videos with them wearing jerseys. Well, here we go. Here's a picture of Dan Spitz. Right there. If that'll focus there, but right there in the blue. It's kind of a blur. It's definitely a football jersey that he's wearing. Which now I'm looking, it says lead guitar. And he plays the acoustic guitar on ADI, which is coming up. Don't worry, y'all. Look, if you folks think that I haven't hit any topics yet, it's coming, because Anthrax, they bring the noise. No pun intended. But yeah, man. Oh, here we go. Now we're in the lead break, and I can tell thanks to my liner notes. Gotta get used to that. Getting used to the camera here and reading these liner notes. Another great lead. Like, I'm sorry, but every time a lead comes up, I'm just gonna talk about the lead. That's how this podcast goes. Another one that you can just kind of hum along or whistle along. I'm a newly born whistler. I used to just hum everything. I think that's why I was into metal so much, because I couldn't whistle when I was a kid. So I would just be like, da 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 da, or and like that's like a metal riff, you know. I feel like if I learned how to whistle, I'd probably be like some pop artist or indie guy or something like that, or electronic or something. Weed break is over. Yep, now we're going back into the pre-chorus. We go back into the chorus. Hey, it's metal by numbers. 1, 2, 3. Scotty, and he knew what he was doing. He did. And I'm sure we're going to end up reviewing some other Anthrax records, because I do have some in the BorsellaNet collection. And, nice fucking life. You just can't beat lyrics like that, man. So this next track is kind of like a deep cut, if you will. I think the second half of the record is a deep cut. So you're gonna be hearing some cool shit. Not just from Anthrax, but from me too. Super fast triplets. So as a young kid, I grew up. Iron Maiden was the go-to. They did the galloping, dun digga dun digga dun digga dun digga dun. But listen to this song, then and Slayer too, especially on the Rain and Blood record, they were doing the gallops on the down. It was like digga dun digga dun digga dun digga dun digga dun. And Skeleton in the Closet, like they really exploit the triplet on the downbeat. Great licks by Frankie Bello. I don't know if you've ever seen Anthrax live, but Frankie Bello, he's out there. He's their Steve Harris of Iron Maiden. Like, if you're not feeling enough energy, just look towards Frankie Bello. And Frankie Bello, he'll be out there singing, screaming, playing his bass way down low. He still has long hair. Like, they're like, what, 40? They just celebrated their 40-year anniversary. He still has the long hair and everything, man. Great guy, too, if you've ever talked to him or heard any interviews. He's just in it for the music. And honestly, if I were Frankie Bello, I'd probably be the same exact way, too, the chance to join an amazing band back in the 80s and play some badass and super fast song. And that's another thing that, like, Anthrax was fast, but they weren't like, you ever heard bands like Slayer or Exodus, or even like the German bands like Destruction or Sodom? They were all just like speed, 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 speed. And Anthrax, like, they were just as fast, if not faster. And if not faster, they were more precise, thanks to Scott Ian's rhythm techniques. And they had the melody, and they had the songwriting chops. Like I'm just talking about, like, so here we go. In this part, there's these lead breaks. Okay, so they actually don't say it on here. I'm sorry. But between every line, in between the verses, when Joey Belladonna would sing a verse, then you would get Dan Spitz in, and he would play a lead, much like Five Magics from Megadeth. If you've ever heard that song, if not, check it out. I'm sure if you're listening to me rant and rage about Anthrax, I'm sure you've already heard Five Magics by Megadeth. Also, here we go, another Dan Spitz solo, but I'm not going to talk about the solo this time. Frankie Bello is killing the melody with the rhythm. Doodin, 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 doodin. It's almost like this chromatic going down. It's kind of like Madhouse back in the day, spreading the disease. But this is also great. So sorry, I'll come back to it. But it leads up to the fun picking part. Chun 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 chun. Scott Ian wrote that. Because who else would call it the fun picking part when he was the guy picking the part? You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, anyway, so Frankie Bello, that whole section, there was a break where his bass shone through, which also like as much as the production sucks on this record, and I'll be the first person to say it if I have to be, but you can hear the bass like straight through the whole time. So as much as I don't dig the production, there's something to be said about bass playing being shown through the whole production, because normally, like especially nowadays, it's all guitar, drums, and then like vocals boosted down, no bass, anything in the background's going. Anthrax didn't have like backing tracks or orchestral stuff going through like their music or whatever. It was just two guitars, bass, drums, and a vocalist. And that's one thing that I aspired for when I was listening to these guys when I was a kid, you know what I'm saying? So like it's just great to go back and listen to this record and just be like, you know what? Just like have some fun, play a riff, play a drum beat. You know, the bass can either play the riff or do its own thing, which we've heard on Skeleton in the Closet, because during the verses, Frankie Bello was hitting those like high notes with his fingers and doo 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 doo, and just like cool stuff, man. Which ends out, I think, our biggest B-side track, which leads into our biggest not B-side track. I don't know, but this song it's a good social commentary. It's called Indie. Starts off with a tribal drum beat going on and some harmony guitars. Obviously, these guys heard Run to the Hills by Iron Maiden on their Number of the Beast album and decided to push the subject forward because Run to the Hills was written by British men singing about American heritage. These guys are from New York, and their singer is also part Native American, and so they're singing about it, and it's more up to date, it's more contemporary. You can read these lyrics now, and they still ring true, and that's one thing about Anthrax that has always stuck with me. Is it's just like man, like, and I'll get to it in the next couple of songs too. Like I said, look, if you're waiting for a point for me to talk about, it's gonna come. But yeah, like once they started getting these socially aware lyrics, and we'll listen to Persistence of Time, State of Euphoria, whatnot. Like they really dug deep. Like they were on the outside, they were this band that just sang about comic books and movies and different characters from different stories that were already created. But then they also like came out to saying like, hey, like we see what the world is like, and we see what's going on out there, and we're gonna talk about it. And this song was really the big one. I mean, NFL was also pretty social, but Indians, man, like forced out stolen land, you know, and then we're dissing them. Like, we're dissing them. You know, it's not just like, oh, this is going on in our country and shit, but it's like, hey, like we're a part of it too, and like we need to step up because we're a part of the problem. And that's one thing. Like, shoot, dude, like it's 2021 right now, and now the past couple of years, obviously through COVID and whatnot, everyone's trying to be involved and whatnot. And Anthrax back in the day in the 80s, man, they were singing about this shit. Like, look, we already know that there's problems. And we know that we're part of the problem. But we also know that we can help the problem, too. So, really cool stuff by the boys in Anthrax. Um, love it. Obviously, we're waiting for the mosh part and the war dance. Like, I'll just be honest with you, I'm just rambling right now, just waiting for that part to come up, because that part's just so monumental and it's so cool. And not just it's so okay, so we have the lyrics, right, but then musically with thrash metal coming out in the 80s, this song really, it almost just like not like a satire, but it was just like here it is. Here's the Mod part. I'm like, oh, you thought this song was about something? Like, okay. Well, now you can dance about it. And that's one thing I love about this type of music. Like, they can go fast, but in Anthrax, they also have the groove in there. They brought a lot more groove later on, but, like, you can't look at me straight in the eyes and say that they didn't have groove back in the day. Because they did. They always did. It was Anthrax. Like, they were woke before everyone was woke. They were doing groove before groove was there. They were doing rap songs. We'll probably cover the I Am the Man for like a short episode, which is a short EP that they did. Another great solo by Dan Spitz, got to bring it up again. Another one that you can just sing along, hum along, whistle along, whatever you're capable of. Yeah, that's the one. Just, great social commentary. Also, like, the riffage. Like, so you obviously can't hear it through this microphone, but Scott Ian's doing these down picking, but then he's backing it up with some double picking on it, and he's going back and forth with and like what's really cool about that is like just keeping the rhythm down and keeping it fast while also keeping that steady pace. This is one of those bands like I was listening to and I was like, you know what, like I could do this, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not saying like it sounds easy. It just sounds like okay, like they're hitting the notes and they're hitting the rhythms, and I can do those. I mean, I'm gonna have to step it up, but like I've always felt like they were one of those groups where I was like, you know what, like I could write down, the verse, pre-chorus, chorus, repeat, mosh part, breakdown, yada yada. Like I could write music. And that was a big thing for me, where it's just like, I want to write a song. I didn't care how fast I was playing, or how heavy it was, or if it was catchy or not, or accepted or anything. But just when I was reading these Anthrax liner notes, I was like, you know what? Like, I could do this. Very, very cool. This song, One World. This is a very deep cut here. Might get a little quiet for a little bit. Kind of thirsty. Need some water. But I think for this one, we can just go down and I'm just gonna read some lyrics, right? Where it's like, there's been too much debate. We could save ourselves from Holocaust. So you got Scott Ian, who comes from a Jewish family. And Skeleton in the Closet was already about Nazis, but this one is just like more like American, bringing it in, where it's like, hey, like, what are we doing, and is it helping the world? It's not helping the world, and is it really helping us as a people? And as you read the song, you realize, no, it's not really helping. We continue to balk. We let the genie out of the bottle, but we still hold the cork. It's like we're so like, like you're holding on to that cork. Imagine drinking a bottle of wine and it's empty, and you're just like, no, man, I still got the cork. It's still good. Having that mentality, but with like world peace and going to war and murdering other people. No one wins. Fighting for peace. I don't know if y'all saw Suicide Squad this weekend. Came out on HBO Max. Peacemaker. I think like that character kind of reminds me of this, where it's like, I will kill any man, woman, or child to bring peace. And he was a fucked up character. But so to kind of bring that up, they're singing about Ronald Reagan here. Instead of thinking SDI, and I had to look up SDI, and SDI was a program brought up by Ronald Reagan to like send satellites with lasers into space to shoot down missiles just in case if Russia or anyone else, China, whoever, Cuba, shot up missiles, we would have lasers to, to bring them down. Which, like, I kind of like the idea, but at the same time, it's just like it was almost like, so you have mutually assured destruction, which is if they send missiles, we're going to send missiles. But then I was like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to be more peaceful and just send satellites into orbit to shoot lasers down and blast those rockets out of the sky. Look it up if you have a chance. I mean, I could right now, I guess, but right now I'm listening to Anthrax. And I'm talking to you about Anthrax, so I don't have time to do that. So you can do that for yourself. This song is very simple in the sense where it's just straight up. You have the intro, goes in the thrash part, which leads into the verse, pre-chorus, chorus. Another verse, pre-chorus, chorus. There was a mosh part in the lead break, and I totally just talked right past that. I don't want to say the song is forgettable, because I do love it, but if I had to choose one other song than this one on this record, I will, One World, I probably wouldn't be like, what's your favorite Anthrax song? One World, bro, fuck yeah. I'm sure there's not one guy who's out there, but I'm probably just going to pick, like, I Am the Law or something. Which I just looked, I Am the Law, there's an asterisk on there. Oh, and here we go. Dan Wilker gets credit on I Am the Law. Ooh, and Imitation of Life, which is it's the last song on the record. So we're going to be able to listen to that song. And we're going to be able to talk about it and talk about Dan Wilker. I think we should save the last song to talk about Dan Wilker. No. Because the next song is ADI, which has, like we said, Dan Spitz, lead guitar, and acoustic guitar. Charlie Benanti, it's all blurry, I'm sorry. Benanti's on drums there, Scotty and Belladonna, Frankie Bello. And then you got the boys in a subway system there. Jeans and leather jackets, long hair and everything. That's how everyone did things back then, right? Apparently not. I live in Atlanta, so it's hot as fuck, so I don't own a leather jacket, because fuck that. The one day that I have to wear a leather jacket, it's not going to be worth it, because it's going to be, like, 30 degrees? Just don't call it Hotland, okay? Dan Spitz doing that acoustic guitar. Sounds like a 12-string. I feel like every band has that moment where they're like, we need to do an acoustic part. Because that's the hardest part of production if you're ever recording, especially metal. Like, it's easier to record the heavy guitars than it is the acoustic guitars. So, like, that whole intro was, like, really cool and a great way to just kind of break up the album, especially because this song and the next song are also deep cuts. I feel like this podcast is going to be talking about deep cuts a lot. So the way the riff started, and then now, you can't hear it, but there's left and right guitars going on, and so they added a little tail end to the riff, and they're trading back and forth, left and right, between Dan Spitz and Scott Ian. And now everyone is joining in, and and this is just another track where Frankie Bello just really shone. I think maybe because it's a slower track, you can hear the bass a lot better with the slower, chunkier riffs than you can with those fast thrash riffs. Here's our first time with a lead during the intro. Dan Spitz coming in. Dan Spitz killing it on this song. He did an acoustic intro, now he's doing a lead on the heavy intro. But once again, the riffs are changing up. This is one of those long intro thrash songs where if you're a thrash fan, you know what I'm talking about. Like, if you ever heard Megadeth or any other thrash band, you'll have a 2-minute long intro with like 20 riffs, and then you'll end it with like a 1.5-minute song. But this song is a longer song. It's called ADI Horror of It All. I think I have the time listed on my CD here. Let's see. Oh yeah, this song's almost 8 minutes long. So if you're still listening, you're in it deep with me. And if you're gonna stick around, we're gonna talk about Danny Lilker a little bit. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so we're on the bridge here. And even on the bridge it says, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, uh-oh. This is literally what Joey Belladonna sings during that. And then another guitar solo. Like I said, this is a long song. Right? I think this is one of the tracks where they were just like, we're going to do everything. You know, you want a verse? Okay, we'll do the lead into the verse. We're going to do a pre-chorus? Sure. But we're going to sing it out. We're going to write down whoa, oh, oh, and whoa, ah, oh in the liner notes there. I think we're finally getting to... No. Not even at the first chorus yet. This song's been going on for a while now. Probably like 3 or 4 minutes. But what's cool about the chorus, it's got this kind of break. Like, a lot of bands didn't do this where the guitar is just stopping. Gun, 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 gun. They're filling in now, but I think a lot of bands, like, back then, especially with those old school amplifiers, like, if you stopped playing, you didn't have a noise suppressor, that shit was just squealing, feedback, and then you got the bleeding ears. I wear earplugs. So hopefully I won't be going deaf anytime soon. But yeah, this is a band that I feel like they knew their dynamics. Like, once again, like, hey, here's a riff, I'm just going to stop playing for a little bit. And maybe that wasn't the most popular thing back then. It's a horror. Okay, I'm sorry, but the real horror is just how long this song is. I mean, here's that break riff. It's a great song. And so the lead break that's coming up, the same kind of thing as Skeleton, where Frankie Bello really shines. And he does this bass break. And it really speeds up. But it took like, 5-6 minutes before it sped up? But I gotta say, like, Belladonna doing this, yeah, building it up. We're building up the speed here. Benanti's just been keeping the beat down. Now he's doing his signature downbeat going, where he's hitting the snare on the one, and then hitting the bass drum on the up, and then now he's punking it up. And then, yeah, Frankie Bello is just, I feel like he's got to be up on like a higher string or something. Because, like, the tone from his bass, like, you can really hear, him cutting through. And I honestly, like I said before, I think this song, like, he is the star for this lead. Spits, once again, you can sing along. And also, like, once again, using some weird special effects, like a chorus or a flanger or something, but I can never pinpoint. I've always wanted to. It's almost like a silly, having fun tone that he's had, and I've never been able to pinpoint it. I've tried, trust me. Let me just layer like 10 special effects on like my Digitech or something, and I feel like I get close, but then you listen to an Anthrax record and you're just like, I can't do it. You know, I don't know how anyone who's so a little outro fade out, where it's like looping the end and then fading out. You can hear Megadeth "Ashes in Your Mouth" at the end. They do the same thing where it's like they take the last 2 seconds and then almost like copy paste but lower the volume as it goes. So now we're on to "Imitation of Life." This is the last song on the record. This riff apparently was written for Scott Ian and Charlie Benante's side project, SOD, Stormtroopers of Death, which had Danny Wilker on bass and Billy Milano on vocals. That's why Danny Wilker's got credit on "Imitation of Life." Now, Danny Wilker's, he's a veteran, heavy metal veteran. He founded Anthrax back in the day. He's not on this record, but during this time he was doing thrash metal with Nuclear Assault, and then in the 90s he would join, or start, actually, he would found my personal favorite metal band. Fuck it, I'm just going to say it. They're called Brutal Truth. Grindcore record, and I have their first album, a reissue, coming in 8 days. I think it's gonna ship. I did the pre-order. So Danny Wilker, just like a solid dude, and writes some badass riffs and had some cool bass tones, and was monumental in the foundation of Anthrax. So hearing that riff in the intro and knowing that he was an integral part on this record. This is their third record, and they're still using songs that he helped write. I mean, he's got even more on Spreading the Disease, their last record. But this one was really good. I mean, that was one of the big things, like, as a fan, and, like, I would read someone's name, like, oh, they had liner notes, like I would read Dave Mustaine's name and Ride the Lightning, so I'd look it up, like, oh shit, he was in Megadeth and shit, and then I would look up who was producing, or like Johnny Zazula or Megaforce Records, so I'd look up other bands that were on Megaforce Records, and that's how I got started listening to heavy metal, and really cool build-up here, which I've always been a fan of the build-up. You know, you don't always have to break down. And this is when, like, you get your head bobbing. This is when people dance. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, here we go. It's the lead break here. Oh, no. Here we go. It's the bridge. Bridge 2. So the first bridge. Shoot, this is the second bridge. And then it goes in lead break, which this solo by Spitz is different than any of them, so that's another thing about him. Like I said, he uses these crazy effects and stuff. And it sounds like he's using this whammy bar or something, but he's also doing this dual tracking, which is a very prominent thing, I think, that he was doing. Doing the dual tracking guitar solos, where he just plays the same thing, but maybe a little differently. If you listen to High on Fire, Matt Pike does that a lot. Yeah, so, like, we're wrapping up. This is like the super speed break for this record. Great record, 1987, man. If you can pick it up, if you can, I don't know if it's on Spotify or streaming or whatever, I'm sure it is. Anthrax, man. Among the Living. Got Dude on there. And just a good time, and just as quickly as it started, it's over. So thank you for tuning in to BorsellaNet. And next time we're going to just be picking up a random record and going to be listening to it, and we're going to be talking about it. And it's going to be a good time. So thank you for checking in. See you next time.